Hey, Chicago. What do you say? This is CHGO Big Ten After Dark. You like that? The CHGO Big Ten After Dark.
At least you did it before the show ended. Not like the song is saying after the game, the Cubs already won. Which makes no sense.
Okay. All right. All right, Herb. CHGO Big Ten After Dark presented by CHGO Bets Daily. I am Cody. Follow me on Twitter at Cody_CHGO, and I'm joined by my good friend Herb Lawrence.
Hello.
I cannot pronounce your Twitter handle.
Ecknerwall23.
Thank you.
My last name spelled backwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've always wondered, and I've never asked.
Yeah.
And I guess I could have asked before, but, our friend Sean Anderson's not here, and I learned that he wasn't going to be here 5 minutes ago. So we are, trying to, we're doing this on the fly.
We are.
All right. So we do this show once a week. If you're just tuning in to Big Ten After Dark, go through Big Ten games for this week, go through some other lines. Definitely have some bets for tonight's game. Got some bets for the Big Ten slate. I know it's NFL, but I'm kind of intrigued about the NFL game. Thursday
Jaguars
Night Football
Saints.
Tonight. Yes. So we're gonna talk a lot of football here. Obviously, we got 8 people watching at the current moment. Hit the like button. Sean, if you're watching, I'm coming for your job. All right. So the matchups, there's not a ton of Big Ten this week. We got 6 games. First, we'll start Rutgers in Indiana. It's at IU. Wisconsin and Illinois. I know me and Herb are going to be watching that probably. And then Northwestern Nebraska.
Boo.
And Minnesota goes to Iowa for what will probably be the worst game of the weekend. Michigan and Michigan State. And then finally, Penn State and Ohio State, which is probably going to be the most intriguing game of the weekend. 2 of the top teams in the Big Ten. So, Herb.
Yeah.
I guess, should we start with Penn State and Ohio State? Because as far as the Big Ten slate, it is the most intriguing game.
It is, and I think it's the marquee game of the year so far. I know Texas and Oklahoma had their battle, but I think number 3 ranked Ohio State versus number 7 ranked Penn State is going to be a barn burner. Penn State has just ran through their competition, and I think we were talking before the show about their lack of actual good teams they're going to run into. This is an actual good team they're running into. Ryan Day's 3rd-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes. The last time the Penn State won at Ohio State was 2011. It's been a minute. Ohio State has dominated this series as of late, winning 10 of the last 11 games. But I really like Penn State somehow. They have covered each and every game that they've played this week. Even last week's game where I didn't think they could cover the 40, I think it was 42.5 versus Massachusetts, had no problem with that at all. I'm liking Penn State, I know, and if you're giving me 4.5 points too on the road, I got to take Penn State there.
I think, all right, so the spread right now, like you said, is 4.5. Ohio State's a favorite because they're at home. And then the total, I believe, last I checked, is at 45.
Yeah.
I personally, if we're betting the game, I think the under is the safe play, just because both these defenses have been good. As you see on the graphic, I put a typo in there, and I say over 45. I actually want the under of 45, so ignore that. And then I also have those 2 plays from tonight. We'll get to those later. But I think, for me, the way I think the game is going to go is either Ohio State's going to blow them out, but won't go over 45 points, and Penn State's going to score less than 10. I feel like it could be like a 31-7 game or something like that. Both defenses have shown to be very good all year. You can't really – like Ohio State struggled against some teams. Like they kind of struggled against Maryland for a half.
Yeah, Indiana.
Indiana as well. But they've also put up 60-some points this year. You're getting a mixed bag from them, right? But, again, this is outside of Notre Dame, this is probably the best team that they've played outside of them. If I remember correctly, I don't think I'm missing another game on the schedule there.
No, they've only played they played just Indiana teams.
Right.
Notre Dame, Penn State, Purdue and Indiana.
Yeah. So to me, it'll either Ohio State's going to blow them out like 31-7, something like that, or it's going to be kind of like what Notre Dame and Ohio State was, in which that was a 17-14 game that's still under 45 points. That's basically how I see that game going, because both defenses have shown all season that they're really good. It's hard for me to want to put my trust into Penn State hanging around.
Yeah.
So I feel like the safe play is the under on this game. And again, you look at Penn State's schedule. They beat UMass. They beat Illinois. They beat
Iowa. Shut them down.
Yeah. I mean, they
and scored on that good Iowa defense, too.
They scored 31 against the really good Iowa defense and didn't allow Iowa any points, which doesn't mean anything. Iowa's offense sucks. But just had to throw that shot in there, right?
Oh, my God. They're going to win the Big Ten West by like 2 or 3 games. And They are, by far, especially now that McNamara is out for the year, the worst offense I've seen this year in the Big Ten.
Absolutely. So, yeah, that's kind of my play on that game. I think if Penn State hangs around, I definitely will have a little bit more respect for them. But just based off the schedule they played, it's hard for me to put any trust in them. So I personally am staying away from the 4.5. If it comes down to 3.5, maybe I'd just go ahead and place the bet on Ohio State. But as of right now, I'm staying away. It was at 5.5, and it's come down to 4.5. So, it's a lot of money is coming in on Penn State right now. So I see what you're thinking on it, because they have looked good this year. They've been the third best team in the Big Ten, far none, right? Mm-hmm. But it's hard to put the trust in it for me.
And I think of course the Big Ten wants the big game to be undefeated Ohio State, undefeated Michigan running into each other. But this team, I'm telling you, this Penn State team has some interrupting to do. And I think this is the first part of the interrupting, where they go to the big house, the Horseshoe, and grab a W. They're not going to the big house and grabbing a W. Michigan is far and away the best team in the Big Ten. But I see this Penn State team, and James Franklin has built up a program that I actually kind of respect, finally. Like, I've always thought of Penn State as to be an also-ran, like a good team in the East, but not great, because Illinois could actually beat them, which they've done multiple times since they've joined the Big Ten. So that's why I kind of look at Penn State as you're good, but you're not good. But this year, I think they're good, because when they played Illinois, even though the score doesn't seem like it, they dominated that game, even though Johnny Newton, who is the Illini's big defensive tackle, dominated the front line. So I'm a Penn State backer.
All right. Well, let's get to Illinois, Wisconsin. It's homecoming weekend in Champaign. Illinois coming off the upset over Maryland last week.
Did not think that was going to happen.
15-point dogs. Me and you both sat here and thought they were going to lose.
Coming off of that Nebraska game, of course, everybody was like, ugh.
I should have thought more into it, though, because I think we all knew that Maryland had, they weren't as good as what that record showed. But do I think that they would have won? If I could go back, would I have said that I think they're going to win the game? No, but I think I would have said that they would have covered, and I don't even think I said that last week. That's how bad or how down I was on Illinois. But now they're coming off the win, homecoming weekend in Champaign. Wisconsin coming to Memorial Stadium. Tanner Mordecai looks like he's probably going to be out. I think Illinois is a 2.5-point underdog. If you can't bet it here, you can't bet it here in Illinois. If you go up to Waukegan to Circus Sportsbook, you can place it there. Or if you're out of state, you can place the bet. But as a 2.5-point underdog against Wisconsin, with their quarterback hurt, I think there's reason to have some optimism for once on this Illinois team coming off that huge win. There's still a chance to win a bowl game or to get a bowl game. Like I think the Illini are coming into this one feeling good.
Yeah, they are. And this is the thing. Once I start feeling good about the Illini, and I know it's not predicated on my feelings or my thoughts, but as soon as I buy in, they just disappoint me again. But I remember the last time I thought Illinois had no chance versus Wisconsin when they were hosting homecoming. That's where they wore the Gray Ghost uniforms, the Red Grange uniforms, and pulled off the upset versus Wisconsin Badgers. I remember it's literally the same weekend because I literally remember I was at dinner or lunch with my mom because I'm not watching this Illinois game because they're going to get housed by Wisconsin. And this weekend I'm going to be at dinner with my mom again for her birthday. And I want to pick the Illini. I want to take that 2.5 and say, yes, the Illini can do that and cover that spread. But no, I don't think so. I think Wisconsin's coming in here and going to make that 2.5 look kind of pedestrian. They're going to go way over that. And because Illinois' team is just so up and down. And I think if Nebraska can do that, I think Wisconsin's a far superior team to Nebraska. They're going to come in here and dominate.
They have a way better
because
defense.
They don't have their starting quarterback.
Yeah, no, Wisconsin for sure is the better team here. I just think the spot is kind of tough for Wisconsin without Tanner Mordecai.
Mm-hmm.
They have a great running game.
Yes, they do.
With Braden Allen.
And he was a little banged up last week, too.
Right. Like, again, the spot is kind of tough from a gambling standpoint. Now, 2.5, I wouldn't even bet the 2.5. I would just bet Illinois money line if I could, just because.
Plus 110.
Because if you lose by 3 points because of the spread and because of that field goal, you're gonna hate yourself.
Yeah, you're gonna kick yourself. Yeah.
So personally, I would take. If I were to bet it, I would take Illinois money line. But, yeah, I'll actually be in Champaign on Saturday. I have to go to a wedding. I can't believe my friend has a wedding in Champaign
during homecoming.
During homecoming, but
what a jerk.
Anyway,
wait, hold your love off for one more week, Cody's friend.
Right? So, yeah, I'm intrigued. We'll see what happens. Another game, we've kind of joked about it. Honestly, not just this week, but just all year. But like, Iowa and Minnesota is going to be the most. It's going to be the most disgusting. It was like Wisconsin and Iowa last week was awful. It was the most boring game of the year, probably. Yes. Not just like the week, but just of the year. Of any sporting event, that had to be the most boring game of the year. And I think we're going to get more of that this week. Take the under now. The total opened at 32.5. It's down to 30. It's down to 30.5 on some books, right? So I think the under again is the play. I think Iowa wins. If you don't want to sweat it, it's at 3.5. I think Iowa wins 14-2 or 14-3 or something.
I mean, I
can't trust Minnesota for anything.
The most exciting thing about this game is the end of the game, and not because the game ended, is because you get to see who's going to pick up the Floyd of Rosedale, which is the trophy you get for winning the Iowa versus Minnesota winner. Iowa's dominated this series as of late, and that damn thing is like 100 pounds. And so when national people and my guy Anthony Herron, who went to the University of Iowa, are out here touting a goddamn punter as a Heisman finalist, Tory Taylor, that's how bad Iowa is. Their best player is usually a tight end or offensive lineman, maybe a safety. Their best player is their punter. He's a good punter, but this is ridiculous. Iowa is going to win 10 to 12 games this year because they play defense and they punt the ball. Their offense is hella atrocious. Even if it's at 30.5, I'm going under. Iowa unders always go for the most part. And so go for Iowa under. And if there was a bet on any of these markets for Tory Taylor punting 5+ times, go over. If it's 10 times, maybe even go over there too. Because just hella bad. That's how bad the team is. You got the punter being their best player.
Yeah, I mean, Herb said it best. Just take the under. Now, it's not my favorite game of the college football slate in total, but of the Big Ten slate. Maybe this is, I don't know. I haven't watched a lot of Indiana football this year, but I feel like this week IU is a great underdog play here at home against Rutgers. Rutgers played awful last week against Michigan State, and they somehow pulled it out. I feel like this is a good spot to buy on Indiana because they're at home. They're 2-4. They're not very good, but they're getting a Rutgers team that has shown that they can be very good, but also very bad, and they play down to bad teams like they did last week. So you're giving me Indiana's a 5.5-point underdog right now. Maybe not place it right now. Maybe wait and see if it goes up a little bit more. If you can get it at a touchdown, great. Maybe if you just want to buy for the touchdown, great. Get it at 7. But I think of the entire slate, I know you're high on Penn State, but for me, my favorite underdog of the Big Ten slate is Indiana plus 5.5 against Rutgers.
All right, so at home, I mean, as you said, I haven't watched a lot of Indiana games. I watched them play versus Ohio State, and that was eye-opening. I was like, okay, maybe the Hoosiers are going to be good this year. I mean, watching them last year because they played Illinois with the second game of the year, and Illinois should have won that game, but Indiana did prevail. I was like, okay, are they going to be the team that showed up last year, or are they going to be better? And I'm just seeing their schedule so far. They're just same old Indiana. And so it's gonna be hard for me to put anything on it. Are you're gung ho on this Indiana? You waiting for the number to come down, or are you going straight money line Indiana?
I'll consider taking the spread. I don't know if they'll win outright. I just think that they can hang around with Rutgers because
Rutgers great shakes.
Rutgers is I feel like they're fool's gold. They're 5-2. They should have lost to Michigan State last week after getting down as much as they did. They made a valiant comeback and took the lead.
Yeah, I bet
that was because it was Michigan State, and they're not any good. But they only lost by a touchdown to Louisville this year, and like you just said, they hung around with Indiana, or not with Indiana, Ohio State. They gotten housed the last 2 weeks in Maryland and Michigan. They're at home for this game.
Homecoming too.
And it's homecoming.
John Cougar Mellencamp might be there.
I feel like this is a good spot to maybe buy on the Hoosiers to make some magic against a Rutgers team that or just a program in general that it's not like historically they're a dominant football program or anything. And again, I felt like they should have lost to Michigan State last week. Will they clean up all of their mistakes from last week this week? I don't know. So that's how I feel on that. You got
that's it.
You got that's it.
That's all. I mean, Michigan and Michigan State, but
Michigan is Michigan cover the 24? I think so.
Yes.
Personally, I think they are.
I think they're gonna put it on. They're like, style points on little brother. Little brother's big time down. Lost their coach, had a big lead at Rutgers, and gave that up dumbly. And now Michigan, Blank Lame says, any thoughts on the new Harbaugh scandal? I haven't heard of it, Blank Name.
I haven't heard it either.
So, I mean, I wouldn't speak on it, but, of course, there's always something going on with Jim Harbaugh. I hope Jim Harbaugh wins the national championship this year and says sayonara to Michigan. Those become like Pete Carroll type of sanctions. He gets ghosts. He goes to the NFL and has a great career. Sounds like Pete Carroll. So then goes to that NFL and becomes a Bears coach.
That'd be sick.
Perfect.
I'd be in for that. Okay. Bets for tonight. Do you have any bets for tonight?
I mean, Trevor Lawrence is probably going to play. I mean, Schefter just said 2 hours ago that he's expected to play. So I'm going to go with just moneyline Jaguars. I think they can win this game. The Saints are no good to me. I mean, I'm moneyline with the Jags.
Okay.
I think they're getting 2 points. Are they?
Yeah, they're 2-point dogs on the road. Saints. I'm not a huge believer in the Saints either, but I'm leaning towards the under. I think because Trevor Lawrence, short week,
knee problems,
not fully healthy. On top of the Saints defense being really good, I love the under 40. I got it at 40 for tonight's Thursday night football game. Now, also we got 2 college football games tonight. Rice and Tulsa over 58.5. You get it at -108 at DraftKings Sportsbook. Both these teams have been putting up points all season. JT Daniels plays for Rice. I did not know that until I looked it up this morning. He's been carving teams up. Both teams' defenses are near the, bottom 30, bottom 40 ranked defenses in college football. Give me the over. And then what was the other one, Sarah? Jordan McLeod, I believe, who plays for what's the other game? It's Marshall and James Madison, I want to say. Jordan McLeod is a quarterback, I believe, for James Madison. Marshall, pass defense, not great. So give me the over on, or the pass defense good, I mean. Give me the under on 234.5 passing yards. I could be thinking of this backwards. I did not write any of this down because, again, I did not think I was hosting the show. Anyway, yeah, those are my 2 plays for tonight for college football. And, again, I'm taking the under for Jags and Saints. I also think the lock of the night for the NFL game, Derek Carr over 21.5 completions.
Okay.
Because the Jags are one of the worst pass defenses in the NFL, but one of the best running defenses. So I think the Saints are going to try and throw it more, and I think that Derek Carr is going to be throwing it short a lot. So a lot of completions. That's right.
That works for me. I'll probably do that and then do the money line on the Jacksonville Jaguars winning tonight on the road versus the Saints.
Nice.
I believe in my cousin, Trevor.
There you go.
I'm going to talk to him at the family reunion next week.
Tell him, like, hey, when that contract's up, come to the Bears.
I'm like, cut your hair, too.
Okay. That's it for CHGO Bear, or not CHGO Bears, CHGO Big Ten After Dark. I hope I sat in well for Sean Anderson. We got White Sox coming up.
We got White Sox coming up at 3:30. It's myself and Vinny Duber. We talking about some exciting Elvis Andrus stuff and Luis Robert, too. So,
and I'll be there.
Oh, yeah, and Sarah Fichter will be also there.
So everyone will be
Sarah.
here except for me and Sean.
Yes.
So, yeah, and it will look differently on the screen. So
I'll look exactly the same. I'll maybe turn my hat around.
We will see you next week. Also, college basketball is right around the corner, so I'm really looking forward to more Big Ten basketball to talk about on top of college football. So this show it peaked last year during college basketball season. So I'm looking forward to more of that.
Yeah,
so stick around.
Exciting Illini team too to talk about too.
Definitely. At least we're a basketball school. All right, so
and a golf school.
Hit the subscribe button if you're new and you just happen to see this. We'll be back next week. So we'll see you.
Y'all silly like the mayor.